We turn now to another topic we talk about a lot on this show because it's important: mental health and people dying by suicide. There are new numbers from the CDC this week that show the rate of people dying by suicide in our country are at their highest since World War II. But this issue is much more complex than one data point. Look closer and you'll see signs of improvement among young people, which has been a huge point of emphasis when we talked about this in recent years. But on the flip side is what is happening among our older age groups. That's especially true when you look at the rates among older men. So tonight, Kent is here to talk about that.
Yeah, Jana, the latest numbers show that discrepancy. For every 100,000 women, nearly 6 died of suicide. But among men, the number jumps to 23. This divide has been around for a long time, and there are many factors that contribute to it. But today I sat down with one man who said much of it begins with isolation among men, and he believes we have to face it together to fix it.
You know, I get it. It's frightening, it's scary, but ask for some help.
When Mark Meyer first started the Face It Foundation with his friend Bill Dekes, he knew exactly how life-changing asking for help can be.
I'm a clinical social worker by background, but Bill and I launched Face It because both he and I are suicide attempt survivors, and we both saw this gaping hole that men need other guys to talk to.
In the 14 years since, Face It has grown to include 23 peer support groups, which currently serve more than 220 men.
These guys collectively have helped each other. They've been there in the time of crisis. I mean, I could roll out text messages and show you guys who at that moment when the decision was, do I live or die, reached out to somebody. That person saved their life.
But he says today's report from the CDC shows just how far they still have to go. A breakdown of the suicide rate among men of different ages shows that the youngest groups from ages 10 up to 34 did see rates fall slightly last year. But all older age groups saw rates jump, including a 10% increase among those 55 to 64 and a rate among those 75 and older that far exceeds all others.
When you think about people in that 45 to 64, or certainly the greater than 75 category, we need more outreach. I'm glad to see younger people, that the rate in younger people has reduced a bit. And I think you can attribute that to the fact that people are talking about it and younger people are more willing to seek help and look for help. I think as you continue to move along the age continuum and we see these high rates, that's a group of people that still aren't willing to come forward, aren't willing to seek help, aren't willing to talk about the traumas they've been through.
Do you see a struggle to get men to enroll?
For every 10 guys that reach out to join a group, one of them will do it. After, I've met with them, after we talk about a group, there's a reluctance to join. I've seen an increase in people asking for help, but then the follow-through becomes, part of the issue. When these guys do gather, and when they are in groups, and they show up consistently, incredible things happen.
Our hope in doing these stories is that maybe somebody watching needs help. What would you tell that person?
I would tell them to reach out. Come to Face It, send me an email, talk to somebody. You think you can't talk to your friends? You can.
And if you are a friend or family member concerned about a guy in your life,
I think people are afraid to talk about suicide. People are afraid to bring up, I'm concerned about you, because they're afraid that will tip somebody into an action. It's not true. Tell them you care. Tell them you see things are difficult. Tell them you will walk with them through these problems and that you'll help them find help. You can't just go at somebody and tell them, go get help, and then disappear on them. Especially guys, they need people to walk with them.
And Mark wanted to emphasize that there are more options to ask for and connect with help than ever before. From the national expansion of 988 to smaller groups that focus specifically on professions like farming and first responders, which have even higher rates of suicide. Jana, we've posted some of those resources along with this story on KARE11.com. And tonight, you'll also find my entire conversation with Mark on our YouTube page because it was powerful and there's a lot of helpful information there.
So much so, and Mark is such a powerful voice, and he means it when he says email him. He really does.
He absolutely does.
Thanks so much, Kent.